Welcome to the first ever civilized audiobook review. I'm Brian, and I love audiobooks, and I want to share my passion for audiobooks with you. I went a long time not reading at all, maybe reading one book a year, if that. My concentration is horrible when I'm reading a book and paging through it. But when I discovered audiobooks, it really changed my life, and I was able to plug the earphones in, focus, play video games, do yard work, and get all the great information that everyone else gets from reading. So for my first review, I'm going to take on The Martian by Andy Weir. I finished it yesterday, and I loved it. Great narration, great laughs, great emotion. My eyes got a little wet near the end, I'd say, and it was just really fun. Fun thrill ride.
I'm pretty much fucked. That's my considered opinion. Fucked. 6 days into what should be the greatest 2 months of my life, and it's turned into a nightmare. I don't even know who'll read this. I guess someone will find it eventually. Maybe 100 years from now.
Andy Weir did a great job crafting the characters in this book. Mark Watney, the #1 main character, is funny as hell. He's cussing. You're with him all the way. You're hanging on his every word, and he's making you laugh. The other characters in the book are pretty cool, pretty fleshed out as well. The narrator does a great job giving everybody different voices. There's the Indian accent, the Chinese accent, which is tough to do, of course, because there's always a kind of a racial thing with accents, but I think he pulls it off just fine, and I enjoyed it all the way. The only character I didn't really get into as much at the beginning was Annie, the PR lady for NASA, and she's demanding, PR stuff, and the world needs to know, and it just felt so forced, and like her character was put in there for whatever reason at the beginning when all this life or death stuff is going on. There's, oh man, he's got to get off of Mars, and oh, is he going to survive? And then the PR lady is in there. But as the book goes on, you kind of see that she matters. But at the beginning, it was a little odd. There is a lot of hardcore science in this book. In the beginning, he's talking about distilling hydrogen into water and the H3, and it got pretty heavy, and I actually started to drift a little bit and get bogged down by it, but I stuck with it, and it's really not that big a deal. I mean, later on in the book, there's all throughout the book, there's heavy science stuff, but I think it tempers down. It doesn't bog your mind as much as in the beginning. It was a little bit of a shock, I'd say, but in the end, I liked it, to go through all the different scientific stuff and to have it feel real, even though I'm not a brainiac, so who knows if it was right or if it was wrong, but I still liked it. Times where the audiobook format doesn't really lend itself to this book. There's a couple times where Mark is reading formulas and tables that he's kind of hashed out, and in a printed book that it's probably just a big table that you could look at and read and say, okay, this for this and this for this, and this many hours is this many watts and stuff. So there's stuff like that where the narrator has to read all that out, and it starts to be like, okay, let's get along here. But it's not that big a deal. You're still hanging on by the edge of your seat, so it's not that big of a drawback. All in all, I'm going to give this book 4 out of 5 stars. Highly recommended. It's a great intro audiobook if you're just getting into audiobooks and you want to go for a ride. It's thrilling. It's fun. Great job, Andy Weir. I love it.